Migrant workers living in vast Singapore dormitories cut off from the outside world due to the coronavirus outbreak fear their cramped and squalid quarters are fast becoming a hotbed for infection. Singapore on Sunday said it had quarantined nearly 20,000 workers in 2 dormitories, made up of mainly Bangladeshi and other South Asian manual workers, after they were linked to at least 90 infections. The government said the action was needed to prevent broader transmission in the city-state, which is closing schools and offices this week due to a spike in cases, and said it had taken measures to reduce worker interaction in the dormitories and ensure they received salary, meals and medical support. But the move has been criticized by rights groups and others who say it may be discriminatory and risks exposing healthy individuals to a higher chance of infection. If anyone is infected with the virus in our room or in our block, it is just a matter of time to catch the virus, said Majidul Haq, a 25-year-old Bangladeshi, who stays at the S11 dormitory at Punggol with some 13,000 other workers. Haq and 3 other workers told Reuters they sleep in cramped 12-bed bunk rooms, share toilets and basins often blocked from overuse, and that cockroaches and overflowing refuse bins are a common sight. The manager of the dormitory and the government manpower ministry did not immediately comment when contacted by Reuters. When Reuters visited the Punggol site on Monday, 6 police cars lined the road outside the purpose-built, low-rise complex and a police tent had been erected at its entrance. The only activity came from the coming and going of several ambulances and masked workers ferrying rubbish into large plastic bins. Amnesty International said the quarantine was a recipe for disaster. As it stands, the quarantine at these dormitories may be discriminatory and amount to an arbitrary deprivation of liberty, said the charity's Singapore researcher, Rachel Choa Howard. Amnesty has raised similar concerns about lockdowns of migrant worker accommodation in Qatar, while mass transmission of the disease among people living in close quarters such as on cruise ships and in prisons has been a feature of the pandemic which has infected over 1 million people globally. This is the tip of the iceberg, said Alex O, vice president of rights group, Transient Workers Count 2 (TWC2). When you pack people in such density, all this mantra about isolation and social distancing is useless. To combat rising virus cases, Singapore has advised its residents to stay home, not socialize and maintain a meter distance between each other if they have to go out for essential activities like shopping. Authorities have said they are also stepping up precautions in other dormitories as well, including trying to reduce the density of residents. The quarantining of the dormitories has also highlighted the broader issue of the treatment of foreign blue-collar workers critical to the development of gleaming, modern Singapore, said the city-state's former ambassador to the United Nations. The dormitories were like a time bomb waiting to explode, Tommy Koh said in a widely shared Facebook post on Monday. Singapore should treat this as a wake-up call to treat our indispensable foreign workers like a first-world country should and not in the disgraceful way in which they are treated now. Bangladeshi construction worker Shahadat Hossain, 30, said he and his colleagues were so afraid at the prospect of 2 weeks of confinement at the Punggol complex. It would be a total disaster if someone is infected in my room, said Hossain. How can we control the infection as we live in such a crowded place?